Hello viewers, today I'm on my Benelli 249S and I finally got the opportunity to take it for a ride, and I'll give you my impressions of the video now that I'm actually riding it today. The weather is really good and it's perfect for testing. So the first thing I notice when I'm riding the Benelli, when I'm changing gears, is just how easy it is to actually change the gears. It doesn't come with a slipper clutch, but it's not the hardness of the clutch, how firm or soft the clutch is, it's the actual gear change itself in the gearbox. It is extremely smooth, it just notches into place quite nicely. It's so smooth you can hardly notice it actually clicking into gears. So that was the first thing I noticed. It was very, very good in that respect. So it's very comfortable when you change the gears. It's a good feeling, it feels like it's in gear and it slips in very smoothly. So why did I buy the Benelli TNT 249S? Well, there's a number of reasons, and first of all, it's packed with extra features that you don't get on similar 250s. So let's go through some of the aspects of that part of the bike. So it's got dual disc rotors at the front, 265mm. It's got 41mm front shocks, which is what you get on a larger 1000cc type motorcycle. It's got larger tyres, 160mm wide on the rear, so they're proper sized touring tyre. They're a Pirelli GT Angel tyre. The chain on the bike isn't off a small bike, it's off a large cc motorcycle. It's a 525 chain, which is what I've got on my XSR 900. These are just some of the things that are on this bike that are fitted standard. Another example, for example, are the brake lines. They're already meshed, steel meshed brake lines. They're not rubber brake lines that you get on bikes. Which is excellent. So you get everything on the bike straight off the bat. So people have asked me, oh, it's quite a bit more than the standard 250s of its class, but that's the reason. You're getting all these extra things with it straight away. And I have noticed that cornering is excellent with these Pirelli tyres. It's the first time I've actually got a factory bike with GT tyres. Normally they come with sticky sports tyres. And so the actual shape of these touring tyres are much better for the corners. It really wants to lean in and roll into the corners, so when you're at cruising speed, it's very, very comfortable to ride. It's a 6-speed gearbox, and currently I'm in 6th gear, and it's revving at around 4,000 RPM. So on the highway this would be quite okay because it has got the extra 6th gear, and the ratio seems to be quite nice as well. The gear ratio does seem really nice. First, second, third gears geared very nicely. I've just took off here from that stop sign and heading up this hill and going through first, second and third gears. It pulls very nicely and it's not over geared or under geared. And I noticed 5th and 6th gear are higher gears, so it's actually meant more for cruising at higher speeds. So again, they've done an excellent job in that regard as well. The screen itself, it's a TFT display, and I'm riding it now. It's bright sunshine now and I can see it quite clearly. It's showing me my fuel, my water temperature in the radiator, RPM, etc., what gear I'm in, and my trip meter. It's very clear. I can read it without any issues whatsoever. So I'm in 5th gear now, and it actually pulls I'm doing 4,000 RPM, and if I just accelerate here, it actually pulls up to this bike in front of me really easily. In fact, I'll just pass this bike here, just changing into 6th gear. For its size, it seems to be very well geared for its power, so they've done an excellent job in that regard too. The fuel that this bike takes is 92 octane and over, so it's unleaded fuel of course, but it's the more expensive fuel that it needs. It's a high compression engine, that's why it's 12:1 compression ratio, so it's a high comp engine, so it needs lower combustion, high octane gas, so that's what it's got in the tank. It's 16 litres, so that's reasonable as well. A lot of the bikes come with 14 or 15 litre tanks. This is 16, so I thought that was quite good as well. So if you're touring with friends with larger bikes, you can actually enjoy a good long ride without worrying about your fuel. It's a parallel twin. It's actually 360 degrees, so both pistons go up and down at the same time, together in parallel. So one comment that one of my friends asked me is that, well, it must have vibration, it's not balanced. So that's completely incorrect. It's very well balanced. I don't feel any vibration on the handlebars at all. They've done a very good job in that regard. Balancing the engine. It's on my Honda, the NC 750 that I have. It's also a parallel twin, and it's also similar, and both pistons going up and down at the same time. And again, it's relatively smooth, but I'm quite surprised that this 250 seems a little bit smoother than that, given the fact that they normally, a smaller CC engine, you're tending to rev it higher, but I don't feel that that extra vibration. I've just got the throttle here just on just constant speed, and I'm just cruising around these corners, just taking the curves without decelerating, and it's extremely smooth around these corners. The suspension, that setting, I haven't changed at all, straight from the factory. It seems to be perfect for me anyhow, for my body weight, but it does have rebound damping adjustment and preload adjustment on the rear, as well as rebound damping on the front fork as well. But it's fine. I don't feel that it's overly hard. Most of the new bikes that I've bought tend to be on the hard side initially. I'm just going to ride through a tunnel, and then you can see the TFT screen, sorry, you can see the TFT screen change when it goes dark. There's about 3-second delay. It just makes sure that you're not going through a temporarily cloudy or shadowy area, so there's a delay before it actually comes on. And the layout of the screen itself is different, so the nighttime screen is different to the daytime screen. So here's the tunnel now, and just going through, and it'll change about now, and then you can see the design of it. There it goes, and so that's what it looks like when you're night riding, and then it'll sense that it's daytime now, and then it'll automatically change back to daytime mode. There it goes now. I still have my Super Soco TC Wanderer and the Sur-Ron, and I got this bike in addition to those, just so that if I want to go for a ride with friends that have smaller capacity engine bikes, and we want to go touring, I can actually go with them, because at the moment I'm limited by the range on the batteries on both those bikes. So now I can jump on the Benelli and go for a ride without any drama whatsoever. So I use the TC Wanderer every day for work, and then If I'm going a short distance, I can use the Wanderer. Off-roading, I use the Sur-on. And now I've got this for, just with friends for local areas and slightly longer distance touring. And then I've got my larger bikes for sports riding and long distance touring. So it's an excellent combination. I think this is a good sized bike. In overseas, I think this model is the Benelli TNT 302S, so it's a 300cc motorcycle. In Japan it's a 249, and that's to do with the MOT, the vehicle inspection. On vehicles smaller than a 250cc engine, you don't need vehicle inspection, so that's why these bikes are in Japan with 249cc engines. But overseas, if you bought one of these, it would be a 300cc engine, which would be good because it'd have that bit of extra power. TNT stands for Tornado Naked Twin, so that's how it got the name TNT. It's a very smart looking bike. I got this in the green. These are very rare. I don't think Benelli's making these anymore in this colour, so they're quite rare. In Japan you don't see Benellis very often anyway, and this particular one is pretty well unique in Japan for this area. There's probably only a handful of these around. The quality too, I was concerned initially because Benelli is an Italian company and they have the Italian designers and engineers. It's still all Benelli Italian people, but it's owned by a Chinese company now, because times are hard and some of the manufacturers sell, and Benelli sold their business to a large Chinese company. So initially I was concerned about the quality of materials that are used, but my concerns were not founded whatsoever. All the metal, the nuts, bolts, screws, everything is all high quality. The coatings, the plastics that are used, everything seems to be top notch. Certainly equal to my Japanese bikes, looking at the materials that are used and the finish. So they've done an excellent job. Also, I think I said in my initial impressions video, everything's got little torque marks on them, where they've torqued everything up. There's a little mark where they've done each bolt, and you can see they've gone over all the major things really carefully, and it looks good. So it's very good quality, very good quality, I would say. So I was quite happy about that. We're going through another tunnel. You'll see the display change again. There it goes. So it's gone to nighttime mode now. And then when we come out, I think it must be 5-second delay. It's about 5 seconds now. It should change back to daytime mode. There we go. That's quite a nice feature. So it's not so you don't have to worry about it being bright in the night time when you're riding. This bike is heavier than its competitors, so you've got the Yamaha MT25 and the Kawasaki Z250, and it is heavier than those bikes, but they're the reasons why it's heavier that I talked about earlier in the video. The fuel that it has is more, the chain, the wheels, the forks, the dual disc, etc, so that's why it's actually heavier, but it doesn't feel heavy. The weight is low down. It just easily maneuver it left and right. There's absolutely no issues at all, so it doesn't feel the weight that it says on paper. And I really think that you can't really judge just purchase a bike by specifications alone. You really need to get on them and ride them, because you'd never know. People would never buy this Benelli if they just used the specifications alone. It's a brilliant bike, I think. So that's all I wanted to do today, is give you an overview of the bike, my riding impressions of the bike. So overall I think it's a good bike. If you're after a bike that's a little bit rare and something that is unique for its engine size, I'd recommend this Benelli. It's a lovely bike, and appreciate you watching the video. Hope you got something out of this video this time, and I'm just pulling in here to the bike place, and hope to see you again next time. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again. Bye for now.